I'm Sherry Kendall, and welcome to Hometown Salutes. Today, my Fayette County veteran is Angel Perez. Welcome, Angel, to our show.
Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in the Caribbean, on a small island, and I'm sorry, what was the question?
You were born and raised?
Born and raised, and then I moved to New York City
Okay.
when I was about 12, 13, and things started to change.
Is that where you went to school then?
I went to school in New York City.
Okay. So when did you decide to go into the service? Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted just a month or so before I would have been drafted.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you enlist? Did you come from a military family? I mean,
Somewhat. My father was Army, and my father actually was in Pearl Harbor in '44, which was
Oh,
a
wow.
year before the attack. So he got shipped out, lucky me. And my uncle was a general in the Army. He was career Army.
okay.
Yeah.
So when you enlisted, why did you pick the Navy?
The Navy gave me the best package. Schooling and also my comedic notion that if somebody wanted to shoot at me, they would have to swim 3 miles out to sea. But it worked out really well.
Okay. And how many years were you in?
I was in from 68 to 74.
Okay. Wow. Were your parents supportive that you had enlisted?
Oh, absolutely. Mothers usually have a little hesitation, but she dealt with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before you enlisted into the service, had you traveled much before joining the military?
On my own, a few places, some things, but not, continental or to Europe or anything like that.
So when you left for basic training, did you just go on a bus, or where'd you go?
I went to Great Lakes and started in the main station in New York City on a train.
Okay.
And we just kept collecting people that were destined to the same place. And by the time we got to Great Lakes, we had close to 90 people that were enlisted that day.
Wow. Did you know anybody?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah.
So how did you feel as you were leaving for basic training?
Let's say I was just scared out of my wit, but excited that there was a worthwhile destination with something I felt like I had to do, and it didn't concern me as scary or trouble me at all.
Yeah.
But you do it.
So did you work long days? Like what did a day consist of? Got up what time and
You get up at 4, dark 30, and you are there with. We had 86 guys in our platoon squadron.
okay.
So all of us just looking at each other like we says, "Who are these people?" But by the time we left, I didn't trust anybody more than I trusted the people that I was in boot camp with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything memorable in basic training that you'd like to share? Anything happen or anything?
Oh, starting in day one, yeah, a lot of things happened. The very first day, 30 of us almost died.
Oh no.
Somebody had actually washed the eating utensils with disinfectant, and all of us got sick. So that was the way it started.
I was going to say that's a great way to start.
And then there were other people that didn't think that you were much of a person if you were from New York City, and they tried to make fun of it, So,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
So how long did basic training last?
forever.
Yeah, felt like it, I'm sure.
No, it was several months, and I went in. It was the 3rd of July is when I went in, '68, and it was hot up there in Great Lakes. And another thing that happened was that they all got these mock rifles that they have to march with, and they were heavy. But since I was the shortest one in the squadron, I got to hold the flag and lead the squadron.
Oh, funny.
But they didn't tell me that I had to carry a pole that was maybe 10 feet long and weighed more than the rifles. So, surprising.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
it is.
So after basic training, did you go into specialized training then?
Part of my enlisting procedure was that I wanted to have certain schooling, so I picked a couple of schools. Now, before I went in, I worked as a draftsman, and I actually worked on the World Trade Center building. So I thought I was going to go into construction and design, but the Navy, in their own wisdom, put me in an electronics class and designated me to avionics. So I was naval air, so I learned a lot of electronics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and which is funny because I thought I was going to go into construction or something like that, but it was good because the design process at that time, computers were taking over.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So I'm a graphic designer, so I had an electronics prep, so I was able to translate design to computers. So that made my life easier.
Okay.
Yes.
So did you go overseas when you were in the Navy? What was going on at that time?
68 was the fun years.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting killed. People are going everywhere. There's upheaval in the United States. People are relating to the war and what's going on. So, but that really never really created any problems in the service. I mean, not with us.
Okay.
We had a job to do, and that's all we were concerned about. So that was going on. So,
Did you go overseas?
we went overseas, and I got to tell you this: there are some. When I was in my second place that I went to, I needed a. Oh my goodness! Classification, top secret. I needed to have a top secret clearance
Okay.
to do the job that I was assigned to do. And that means that there are things that I really could not talk about because it concerned procedure and things that would needed to be. Now I have been out of the service for a long time, but no one has ever told me that I'm at liberty to share that information. Plus, it's going to affect the people that are there,
Right.
the rest of the guys. So, did I answer your question?
So what ship were you on?
I was not on a ship. I was in naval air.
You were in, oh, okay. Wow, okay.
Yeah. My first assignment was in a squadron or in a base that taught the new officers how to land in aircraft carriers. And I was part of the ground crew.
Okay.
So I made sure that everything was working so that they could land on an aircraft carrier, which was the USSS Lexington.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you go to the other countries, or were you always on the
The only
stateside?
no, we went to other countries, but we flew, and we were never there for very long. England several times. I was there 4 hours. I was in Vietnam one time. I was only there for 2 or 3 hours. You know, I got lucky one time, and I went to Bermuda. I stayed a month.
Wow. Yeah.
So, that was that part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you pretty much lived then where?
Well, lived
Base
in
is where?
Florida, Pensacola. I lived
Okay.
there for a while. I went to school in Memphis, Tennessee, in a windowless building.
Oh gosh.
And so that's how I was taught how to deal with the dedication and the problems of an airplane. So, yeah.
So did anything ever happen while you were on duty that was scary or frightening or?
Well, any time that you get on inside of a plane and take off, especially when you are cognizant of what it takes to keep it flying, you think, well, I one day such and such did their job. It actually took me about 4 years before I got into a commercial plane because I just didn't trust them. But that happened, and there was one time that we were on a mission. We used to fly 12-hour missions on C-130s, and we got hit by lightning.
Ah.
Yes. And that was frightening. And the worst part was actually waiting for the captain to acknowledge that what just happened. And I remember it clearly. I could tell you something funny. He gets on the intercom and says, "All of you with clean underwear, we're doing okay." And so we had to abort our mission. And
So how many's on an aircraft?
we had, that's part of the stuff that's really weird to say, but we had 16 men in every crew.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason for that is that, without telling too much, is that we had every sort of communications that we had, HF, UHF, VHF, the low grade communications. There's only one way that you could communicate with a submarine, and you need a special kind of radio for that. So we had that too. So we were flying communication station, which is, I hope, it's okay to say.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So where did you sleep, and what were your living quarters like? Like when you weren't flying?
Well, in Pensacola, I lived off base
Oh, you did?
because I just got married prior, and we lived there for a few years and a couple of hurricanes. And then from there, when I went to my next station, which was the one with the C-130s, we lived in this really nice barracks that we had.
Oh wow. So you got married while you were in the service?
I got married when I was on leave after boot camp.
Oh, after boot camp.
Yeah, so.
And that's your tie to Fayette County?
No, that was just my first marriage.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I was 19 years old, so.
Okay.
So things progressed.
Okay. So after you got out of the service, what did you do at that point? Where'd you go?
Well, I came back to New York, and instead of going into graphics, because of the change from being able to draw to being able to operate a computer.
Yeah.
I proceeded to do that kind of work and became a graphic designer with electronics, and did well for a while. Became a studio manager, and I handled other people. I had studios for about 10 people, 6 people, and all that.
Okay.
Done a lot of stuff that you probably recognize.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I got to design the Whitney yogurt package. I used to do a thing called buying minutes, that kind of stuff. We used to sell food
Okay.
from the design company that I worked for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay. So are you glad that you had joined the service?
Absolutely.
Are there any life lessons that you learned from your time in the military?
Cooperation, purpose, being able to be responsible for your duties, taking those things seriously. Also the fact that we all took the word protect, the Constitution, serve and protect, be something that kind of takes you through a task that you have to do. I said, oh, I got to do that again. Well, we signed up.
Yep, got to do it.
You got to do it, yeah.
Yep. Were you able to keep in contact with any of your military friends?
No.
Nope.
We lived, like I said, it took all of us from boot camp, from so many states going up the coast. And then there are so many people from everywhere. And, if I was stationed with a guy from Philadelphia or something, it's hard to keep up. Plus, once you leave the service, you start questioning, do I trust this person? No. It's a procedure that you have to learn to deal with, because you don't have the bond of a comrade in arms,
Right.
which means something.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you end up in Fayette County?
I got lucky. I nobody ever told me about Hoosier girls,
Who's your girls?
and
No.
and the thing about it is that I was working in a new company, and we had a brand new building, top floor, 15th floor, overlooking the Hudson, and we had just gotten there, and I said I was studio manager, and one day I come in, and there's a girl at the front desk, and it happened to be my wife Cindy at that time. And Cindy was traveling with Northeast Opera. Cindy's got a degree from New York University, Tisch School of Art. And so she's, me and her and other people, we started performing arts here in town.
Okay.
But she was in between shows. And I asked her, well, why are you working? She says, well, I still have to work, even though the company, Northeast Opera, was taking a hiatus, for until the next show. So I said, wow, she just got out of there and she's doing this. And she had developed a relationship with a job that assigns you jobs. So you could go there and go, I'm free, give me a job. So they sent her to that company. And she was just supposed to answer the phones, but she would sweep the floor, paint, do whatever she wanted to do. And then at one point, I was asked to hang some paintings because we had a 15-foot ceiling. So they said, okay, you help him. So they assigned her to help me. And this is the thing, and I tell this story all the time.
That's so funny.
I'm walking up the ladder. measuring this and that, measuring that, to hang the painting. And on my way down the ladder, here comes Cindy, up the ladder with a drill and anchor and a screw.
She's just showing you how to do it.
She was probably the very first woman that I had ever met that was not helpless. And again, I was younger, didn't I? And she introduced me to the theater. I was able to go backstage and see all
Oh,
that.
wow.
And the first play that she took me to backstage was South Pacific, and it was tremendous.
Wow.
Actors and directors and lighting people and sound people, the people that build the sets, the people that paint the sets, and that was my introduction to it. And if your wife is in the theater, you're in the theater. So,
That's funny.
no, it was fun. It was fun.
So
And-
just a fluke that she ended up there.
Yes. But when after a while, we met in 1990, I think it was.
Okay.
And we were dating for a while, and we informed her parents that we were going to get engaged. And maybe in old-fashioned kind of person, I wanted to meet her parents and ask for her hand, because I'm just that way. And she brought me to Connorsville. And I just said, you could live like this? There isn't people trying to kill you when when you're just walking down the street. Or it's hard to be a Christian in New York City because people always think that you're in for yourself.
Right.
And we bought a better breakfast and we moved. I don't know if you remember the Maple Leaf Inn,
Yeah.
corner, but
Yeah.
that was Cindy and I. We bought that and we did,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
So what a culture shock for you to come from New York to here.
No, people always say that.
And it
But
wasn't?
It wasn't. It was probably a gift, an opportunity to live a certain life that, you only find in a smaller town.
Right.
Yeah.
So since you guys have been here, what have you started?
Well, we started
Because you're retired.
much later. I opened up my shop, P&D Productions, and I did my work. I was designer. As a matter of fact, the majority of the logos of this town were designed by me.
Ah,
The Chamber of Commerce, Whitewater Communications, and it's open. I forget. But many of them. You could probably name it. I've done it.
Okay.
So I had that business. And then if you wanted to see some live performances, we had to go out of town. I know that the Connorsville had a program where they had actors and put on plays, but they had disbanded. So we started one.
okay.
And we've been doing that now for almost 15, 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're teaching art group. I mean, imagine performing arts teaches performing arts. If you want to know how to act, do hair, do sets, all that stuff, we have a professional in our group that have done that.
Wow.
And almost every single production that we put on has 2 or 3 or 4 people that have never been on stage before. And that has been something that we're very proud of.
Wow. Where do you have your productions at?
We rented the building up in the Roberts Park. The Roberts building,
Okay.
not the
old-
new one, the old one.
4-H building.
Right.
The old 4-H building.
So we go in and we build a set there and put on the production, and then we take it down 2 days later. And
So how many are in your group?
Well, we wrote all our bylaws, so we have 9 board members, and secretary, treasurer, president, vice president, communications, all that. So
Okay. Well, that's very interesting. That's neat that you brought that, that you guys were able to bring that back to here, and it's really growing and doing amazing things.
yeah. We put on a play called Reverie, which was a salute to the at times where they used to the actors and they would go overseas and put on shows for the military.
Okay.
So we started a show to do that, and it was all for veterans.
Oh, wow.
But I refused to have to ask a veteran to pay for something that was made to honor them. So we asked for sponsors, and within a week we had sold every table.
Wow.
Yeah. So the people responded really well.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. We had a 1940s, show with dance music and all that. We had a band. It was good.
Ah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
So you have anything coming up soon?
Yes, we are about to put together a show that's called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I have.
Yeah, we have the rights to that. We're gonna do that.
Wow.
And if you recall, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever was actually done in a church. So that's what we're gonna do.
Oh, really?
We're gonna put up a performance in the church.
Wow.
We're gonna put up a stage, and we are. I don't know. Did you get to see Oliver?
I didn't. I was gone
Yeah.
when you guys put that on, but
Oliver, it takes a lot of kids, and we found the most amazing, talented kids. That the one that played the lead is amazing. He remembers his line. He could sing. He could dance. He could cry on demand. He was just star of the show, but we had lots of stars in that show.
well, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, Angel.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing with us today
Same.
about your time in the service, and I appreciate everything that you do back here in our community.
Well, there's a lot of veterans here in town, and maybe this will help.
Yep.
Yes.
I
Okay.
appreciate it.
And thank you so much.
Well, be sure to tune in next month for another edition of Hometown Salutes.